For those of you that don't know, I'm a big Hutch fan. I love me my bald brother. I don't like his mustache though. I'm gonna put that out there. His mustache can go. Then again, so can my obesity and my gigantic beard and my mustache. Well, let's just see what's going on in this sphere. If this sends people away, I apologize. But I want to see what's happening, man. I gotta keep up, man. Now that I stream so many hours a day. All right.
His home address.
I mean, that's an obvious dog whistle, right?
I'm not saying somebody should leak his phone number, but if you take $2,000 from a political PAC for the purpose of advertising, where are they advertising it, Hutch? Your stream, which you did not disclose.
This is just like a malicious lie here. Like that, I don't know what else to call this. It's not a misunderstanding. He's just like making it up. Like he's saying that I didn't disclose. Like what are you basing that off of?
In fact, we should be filing complaints to the Federal Election Commission because you never disclosed when you were doing your advertising content.
Again, just a complete fabricated lie, like not based on anything. To be clear, I just want to say, to be clear, doing that is a crime. Encouraging people to file false FEC complaints.
You walk down for it. Much loves. Thanks to my fantastic, lovely friend. I got you.
Complaints is a crime, just to be clear. And this is another clear-cut, clear as day, blatant violation of Twitch's own TOS. All right, let's hear what he had to say, guys. Maybe he's onto something. We don't know. It's possible.
Military in alignment with their political objectives. In this country, there is a wide public policy interest in uncovering paid influence operations in politics. You took.
Why is there a wide interest in that? What does it matter if content creators get paid or are sponsored by the DNC or the RNC? There's nothing wrong with like someone liking your messaging and then like supporting that.
The money, it is reported. Now, I'm not saying that somebody should leak his home address.
Like obvious dog whistle there, but okay, let's keep going.
I'm not saying somebody should leak his phone number. I'm not saying that Hutch should have his credit card number published. If you take $2,000 from a political PAC for the purpose of advertising, where are they advertising it, Hutch? Your stream, which you did not disclose, violating federal election communications guidelines. If anything,
so there's a couple things to unpack here.
So you took some pictures of the actual event? That's actually crazy. Man. Was like all the big plush, but were they all there? Like Romaine and all of them?
First of all, nobody had a problem with the fact that this was disclosed. Like nobody. That's not what the issue was. The issue was that Progressive Victory did not inform its creators. They didn't give us an opportunity to, you know, maybe set up like an LLC or set up a PO box. It is true that you have to disclose certain information if you're doing FEC disclosures. So if the PAC is spending money and then they have to account for that spending and then
so all of this is surrounded around the fact that he was working with a group called Progressive Victory 2 years ago that was doing canvassing events for the Democratic Party and helped get someone elected. So he was working with Progressive Victory, which was I think a pact, and I believe Brianna Wu was in it, Pixie, Destiny, Dylan Burns, Frogan. There was a bunch of leftist content creators that joined together to help Progressive Victory. And then so now people are trying to say because he was part of Progressive Victory that he was taking dark money, and it's like all of this was public knowledge. They were touring for Progressive Victory. They were talking about Progressive Victory at the time. They would do things for that. Emma Vingland was on there. Vosh was on there. A lot of people leading up to the election joined Progressive Victory, and then actually it was not necessarily for the big election, it was for the midterms. The mini election in between for like the Senate and all that stuff. So it's It's such hogwash, dude.
Report it to the FEC. That's fine. But what they didn't do is they didn't tell their creators what you should do is like set up a PO box, because we're getting ready to do like an FEC filing soon. They didn't give us any kind of like heads up. And so what ended up happening is they made the FEC post, and then we all got emails like the next day. And I don't remember the exact content of the email, but it was something like, ooh, yikes. Guys, just so you know, it's like a mass email for like 20 creators or 15 creators or something. Just so you guys know, we maybe like doxed you. I mean, that's not a dox, right? But like, you understand what I'm saying. Did you see PB's tweet? I did. Yeah, PB ended up. Oh my God. Like, there's a lot to unpack here, guys. There was a tweet thread from.
Was it better than the Unfuck America tour? Yes, because we still yet to see what's happening with the Unfuck America tour, because obviously, Destiny's kind of joining in on that, and he's trying to coax Charlie Kirk into a debate with him. We have to see how the debate with Hasan goes, which I don't know if that's going to be very good. Not for us, not if you're on the left. Your soldier walking into that battle is not the most equipped to have that battle. But hopefully he Flanders his way through it. But I doubt it. But yeah, Progressive Victory was actually very successful. It actually managed to, I think, swing 2 elections. It actually got someone, I don't remember what state they were in, but I know that there was a lot of groundwork on it. Because, also Not So Erudite was a contributor as well, and she was trying to, like, get people to come together and, like, dive into it. Progressive Victory was actually very successful. I hope to think that Destiny has to be the glue now because they lost all of their people initially. But actually, I think the Soy Pill is now on there as well. I think the Soy Pill has joined Unfuck America along with Destiny. Oh, are you on Twitch right now? Oh, no. I quit using Twitch. I will not use Twitch until people like Mike from PA and Hasan and his orbiters are probably banned. And you'll see in great detail why. The fact that they literally banned an entire country was kind of fucked. I didn't like that. That was messed up. The Israel ban that they did during the stuff was pretty rough. And then they left it in place for so long. People couldn't even make new accounts. And then on top of that, you have the blatant anti-Semitism coming from Hasan and his orbit, where they are literally advocating for killing children. Because they call, all the kids in Israel are considered settlers. He went on a podcast and talked about how even babies are valid military targets. Nope, not doing it. Hasan just doxed everybody within Destiny's orbit or part of Progressive Victory, and no one cares. He brought on an actual terrorist, a Houthi terrorist that was part of a kidnapping of one vessel where the people were literally taken kidnapped for over a year, and then just seeing his blatant hypocrisy and his sheer brutality of the way that his orbiters have been going after Ethan has just been fucking was just not the way, you know what I mean? And I won't condone a platform, and either the way that I come back to Twitch and start multi-streaming would be if Dan Clancy were to be let go as CEO. I think that he has been a very dangerous person that has almost single-handedly destroyed the entire platform, along with the help of people like Hasan Piker, now that I think about it, because they let him do whatever they want. Like Asmongold to get a 2-week ban for calling Palestinian savages, which he shouldn't have done. They're not savages, they're people. And Palestinians are going through a tremendous, terrible plight that we need to be involved in. And we need to have real conversations about how we can solve the issue instead of just calling everyone, we should, one of the jokes was that, what did Hasan say that was so fucking egregious? He said that the people, if anyone's ever been sympathetic to Israel or Zionism, Dan Gooner Clancy, exactly. He said that they're not even fit to be dog walkers and they should be castrated in the street and shit. Anyone who's saying actual calls to violence, they should not be allowed. And then they banned Hasan one time when he did something really he's done numerous egregious things. But then they banned him one time on his actual day off. He wasn't going to stream on Sunday. And And that's the day they gave him a ban. It's like, okay, I'm so glad this guy gets everything he needs. What is that noise? It's because I'm on the actually, it shouldn't be making that noise anymore. I'm not on this one. This is the one that's supposed to have the noise. I don't know why it's binging that way. Is there a enabled chat notifications? Disabled chat box notifications. There we go. Oh, okay, what's this? Mute event sounds. Maybe that's what I can do, and then it won't be doing those bings anymore, and it won't be annoying. Cool, didn't do it that time. Cool, that's the one I just need to click. My apologies. I'm getting used to actually having people comment on my streams. That wasn't happening a lot before. All right, I apologize. But yes, I'm not on Twitch. I don't even use Amazon anymore because I don't want to support, Dan Clancy and his bullshit. When Dan Clancy is removed from Twitch, maybe I'll actually potentially go back because I did have a pretty good audience on there. I actually miss one of my subscribers named Darkest Dummy. He used to watch a lot of my League content, and I think he was from the Netherlands or something like that. He was really cool, and I miss him a lot. But he would make the jump to YouTube, and I'm like, dude, I can't support Twitch right now. I'm not gonna put my name on this hateful shit until Dan Clancy is removed. And I know I'm a nobody. Like, me not being on there doesn't mean anything. But yeah, no. But for the Unfuck America tour, I hope to think that it's going to be successful because it's getting a lot of mainstream attention right now. I think even Destiny had a CNN interview along with Z Cohen Sanchez, who I think is doing really good. And now I'm seeing her pop up in debates. She was in the Wick debate a little while ago about courting the left, and she did very well in that. And I thought that was awesome. So the more I can see of her, the better, because I think she's actually very talented, and I think that she handled herself very well when she was being accused of actual racism from a bunch of actual racist people. So like I think she did pretty well. Now obviously we'll see more of her career as she unfolds, but I really like her. But anyway, I'm running my mouth. Let's get into this. Let's see what unhinged shit Mike from PA says, who never gets banned for actually doxing people and actively calling for death threats and all this other stuff.
From PV, I don't know how much I want to get into this. I communicated to them. Other creators communicated to them, like following this tweet thread. Let's just read it. Hold on. Let's just read it. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack.
All right. So Progressive Victory. It was our PAX FEC fine that inadvertently doxed Dylan Burns and other creators we worked with last year. Creators who use the FEC filing as a source are not at fault. Cool. Even Progressive Victory is owning up for the fact that the way that they did the mass email chain and had all the information of the people. Because that's what happened. For those of you that don't know, there's a guy named Bad Empanada. And I don't want to really talk about him because I'm a very small channel and he can definitely use his massive... I'm afraid I got to go to look after my kids. Have a great stream. We'll take care. Pixie and all the chat. Hey, Vicky, thank you so much for stopping by. You are beautiful. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful day. And then, if you could, did you record a video of that, or has Ren got that video? If so, let me know, and I'll happily, I want to give it a watch. Have yourself a wonderful day, darling. Bad Empanada is a dangerous guy. He's literally on the run from the authorities in multiple different countries. He openly doxes people. He openly smears people. He openly grabs all their information. He's like Voldemort, dog. You're not supposed to say his name. So by invoking his name, there's a very big possibility he could come after even me. And luckily, I'm small enough and all that stuff. He may not try, but there's no clout in destroying me. But Bad Empanada is bad news. And Bad Empanada found the filings and then put it on the internet to dox Destiny, to dox Pixie, to dox Hutch, to dox Dylan Burns, to dox all the people associated with Progressive Victory. And he put that information on the internet. And then for some reason, Hasan, the glorious leader of the left, decided to boost that to his millions of viewers. So now people are actually in a lot of danger that shouldn't be. And guess what? Twitch isn't doing anything about it because Dan Clancy is a spineless fuck. And now that Asmongold took a break, Hasan is the biggest streamer again, and so now they will do nothing against him. Wonderful. Asmongold was the best thing we could have had because Asmongold was like the thing that drove Hasan the maddest. And now he's just back to being the unhinged loon, and we don't have any counter against that stuff, which is a bummer.
They posted this on Friday, I think. Was it Friday? I think so. So they start the tweet thread with, it was our PAX FEC filing that inadvertently doxed Dylan Burns and other creators we worked with last year. Creators who use our FEC filings as a source are not at fault. Right away, it's like, it's like, are you guys absolving, like, trying to absolve, like, Bad Empanada and Hasan? Is that what this is?
Oh.
We are a digital third place with a volunteer electoral organization sprinkled on top. Our goal is to become infamous for being Democrats' greatest threat in the primary, but their greatest ally in the general.
Come on, PV. Well, I guess with the name Progressive Victory, they kind of did it to themselves, you know what I mean? But why would anyone want to be... Our goal is to become infamous for being Democrats' greatest threat in the primary, but the greatest ally in the general. You know, I used to really like Asmongold, because he was a little more milquetoast. He didn't like pick sides too often. I will say that he took some kind of turns to the right. I'm not saying he's on the right, but he took some slants to the right, and he said some things that I'm not even comfortable with. But I mean, I think Asmongold is a pretty intelligent person, and he should be respected for that. I think some of his takes are pretty bad, but I'm sure he'd say the same thing about me. It's not necessarily like, you know, who's the most intelligent, who's got the best take. You know, I just wish that Asmongold would be a little more thorough with things that he say, and probably take less glee than watching, you know, people fucking drowning on a boat because they're immigrants. I think that part's a little rough. I think that his treatment of immigrants is a little rough, especially in, you know, a country that's founded for immigrants. America isn't just a culture for white people. It's a melting pot for a reason. We should want to pull multiple people into it, especially if could you imagine a country of all the best and brightest people around the world? Oh, that sounds like a super country. Oh wait, that's what America used to be. We used to pull in geniuses from around the world so that they can help elevate stuff and they can innovate within our country. And then for some reason we're like, well, hold on. Are those people brown? We can't have them. Those jobs should go to Americans. Oh, you mean the motherfuckers who don't read? The motherfuckers who don't know how to read. So his takes don't bother me too much. Yeah, no, I understand. I'm saying, if you had to put a gun to my head and tell me who I'm going to watch, Hasan or Asmongold, I'm going to butter myself up and jump into Asmongold's cheeks immediately. There's not, he's like, dude. Like, watching Hasan hurts my brain because, like, he never gives any, like, analysis. All he does is slop tube content. What are you, then? Oh, Mr. Weber? Oh, that motherfucker's gangster, bro. He's out there fighting the good fight. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Our leadership is Sam, Ben, and Jenny, it looks like her name is, and many more volunteers. PV hired Brianna Wu and...
I'm going to give flowers to Brianna Wu, and then I'm going to be a little mean to her. Well, I'm going to be a little mean to her, give her flowers, and then be a little mean to her again. I will say, during Gamergate, Brianna Wu was my enemy. Yes, I was on the side of... the guys that you were characterized as the bad guys. Gamergate, to me... was a righteous movement, and I'll explain why, actually, because like this is something that's important. I talk about it a lot, and I guess I should give the context to what's going on. So when I was growing up, the right was after video games. The right said video games are violent, video games are sexist, video games are misogynistic, we need to ban video games. You heard that kind of rhetoric coming from the George Washington White House. You had people like Jack Thompson. Have you ever seen how we roll up to the Olympics? And All America Baddest Diversity is awesome. Yes, exactly. So Jack Thompson was a lawyer that tried to go after video games. Fox News would blast article after article. They would bring on like Megyn Kelly and various other people to bash video games, and like Bill O'Reilly would do it. Like there was so much video game hate. And then something that happened was we saw the left jump in unicism and say, hold on, there's no data to suggest that video games make you violent. You even saw Hillary Clinton come out at one time and come out and say, video games are make you as violent as lead exposure does in water, which we know is bullshit. That's the reason I didn't vote for her in 2016. I can't stand the bitch. I'm sorry. I do not like Hillary Clinton. I didn't vote for Trump, but I did not vote for her. I set that one out, which is a problem because I didn't think Donald Trump was going to fucking win. I didn't think anyone was going to be dumb enough to vote for that motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what your party line is. That guy's insane. The guy was literally talking about grabbing women by the pussy on a live leaked tape, and somehow he got into office. And now we vote him back in while he's a fucking charged with sexual assault, which in the way that we use the word rape. Anyway, all that to say, the right was my enemy growing up on the very hobby that I enjoyed. Video games are the love of my life. Well, they used to be the love of my life until very recently, but video games were like the cornerstone of what I loved. So when I have people on the right coming out and saying video games are evil, video games are bad, we're gonna ban video games that cause all these issues, and I saw the left come out and defend video games. Fast forward a handful of years while Obama's in office, a young lady named Anita Sarkeesian props up, and she starts making the claim that video games make you sexist. There's no evidence to suggest this, just as there's no evidence to suggest video games make you violent. There's none. People have done studies, nothing has been found, there's been no correlation. In fact, it shows the exact opposite. And so I figured my boys on the left were going to come in and save the day. They didn't. Everyone on the left said, girl boss go, video games make you sexist. She has boobs, she's right. I even donated to Anita Sarkeesian's Tropes versus Women in Video Games. Because I was a gamer. I saw the way women were treated in online lobbies, and I thought it was fucking disgusting. That's a problem. Yeah, it was satanic heavy metal music, then NWA, and then Two Live Crew, then video games, and now trans people. What's next? Exactly. But I donated initially to Anita Sarkeesian's Tropes versus Women in Video Games. It wasn't a lot or anything like that. I was working at TA. I wasn't making shit money. But so that happened, and her first video literally made me so mad, and I think it broke the internet. Remember, I was in the circles of like the Amazing Atheists, Thunderfoot, Chris Ray Gun, and so then I kind of joined in on the Gamergate movement when it blew up, and then we saw a lot of corruption surrounding that. Like we saw a lot of Zoe Quinn was getting favorable reviews on a major platform back then, because now no one gives a shit about what game journalists say, because obviously why not? They're terrible. All that to say, Gamergate started, and for a minute there, we had the left was our enemy, the right was our enemy. We had no allies. Just like what happened with the Atheism Plus, which is another thing I was a part of, but that's a whole different story for another different time. I'm only talking about this because of Brianna Wu. Brianna Wu was part of the Gamergate movement, and she was my enemy for a very long time. I pulled away from the Gamergate movement when it started getting violent. It got very violent, unfortunately. They started making video games that beat up Anita Sarkeesian and just really shitty stuff, and people started sending death threats, and it's okay, well, I'm not a part of a movement that actually wants to perpetuate violence against women. That's not what I'm about. I'm against calling out the corruption in the video game industry, and where journalists were getting paid by let's say you wanted to do a review for a game. Let's say the people that want to have you do that review are going to give you plane tickets or concert tickets or some form of bribery, and then you get a positive review. Yeah, like I said, I've been doing this for about 12 years, but there was a time during the anti-SJW movement or the Gamergate movement where it wasn't left or right. It was a bunch of people that were on the left, like Chris Ray Gun, at the time, Shoe on Head, Armored Skeptic, Undoomed. All these people were kind of left-leaning. The problem was that eventually people like Sargon of Akkad, or Carl Benjamin is what he's known by as now, started to integrate themselves into the Gamergate movement or the anti-SJW movement. And over time, it became radicalized and became an arm of MAGA. Yeah, it's not good. But Brianna Wu, I love her sometimes, because she came out and said I was part of Gamergate on the other side, and I was wrong. There was a lot of corruption going on. People were getting paid under table deals to like give positive reviews for things. She was wrong, and she openly admitted that. And I was like, "Fuck yes." I saw her on a debate panel. Me and her got along. Oh, I didn't talk with her, but I was like, "That's my girl right now." So me and her had our flowers. She joined Progressive Victory. She helped get Democrats elected, and she was much more intertwined with this society on the sphere. I was just a watcher. She was active in it. Is it weird that I have no clue of the ideas of left-wing, right-wing support in America and the definitions for liberal and conservative is swapped? That is a little strange. That's a little strange, actually. I mean, America does everything like, well, whatever the fuck it wants to do, and it just expects everyone else to play by its rules. Problem is, the new world powers are coming into play because America's crazy, and if you can't trust the leader of the world, you replace it. Well, the leader of the market, not necessarily the world, but then Brianna Wu went super like Zionist and like, no tease, not weird. I have no idea. Like, what the fuck, dude? I think that's by design. I think people are trying to muddy the waters so much that just everything gets lost, and then you can carve out your own truths. So Brianna Wu, me and her have like a sordid past. On my side, she knows nothing about me. I think she liked one of my tweets once. You know what I mean? But right now, I think she's going a little far. I think she's a good voice on trans issues a little bit. I like that she's trying to like moderate things down to be a little more less radical in some areas, but she's having too much in common with TERFs right now to make me feel comfortable. I don't like to talk about the trans issue that much anymore. I think it's been overblown. It's not the conversation that we need to have. Like, trans people make up like 1% of our society. They're such a small minority. And then because for some reason the right has used a bludgeon against the trans movement so much, like the whole world is up in arms against trans people. And they're just people trying to survive. They're people that feel like they weren't born in the right body, man. Like, could you imagine waking up every day and thinking the skin you wear is a prison? I mean, I go through something similar, but that's mostly just from sheer obesity. Like, something I can correct, something I can fix through exercise and like, rigid diets and like, taking care of my health. But these people feel like they were born in the wrong fucking body. Like, come on. But yeah, I can't just listen to this. No, I understand. Look, Pixie, I'm talking about stuff that a lot of people aren't aware of. But that's kind of what my problem with a lot of the stuff is that all of this stuff happened in the backgrounds, and then no one was aware of it. Like, no one could have been aware of it unless you were like plugged into the fucking internet and culture war 10, 12 years ago. It's crazy. Brianna Wu is awesome sometimes. You take her for what she says, right? And then, sometimes she goes a little far with some of her stuff, and you're just like, I don't know about that one. And then also, as I've gotten older, I've learned a little bit about grace. It's no longer really about sides. There's only like a handful of people on the planet that like I just don't want to fuck with, and Hasan is one of them. But like, even Hasan probably has takes that I can agree with, and even Hasan probably has moments that are like thoughtful and insightful. It's just a lot harder when you have 50,000 people that watch you and on a daily basis, and you're recording for 9 hours a day, and your audience is getting more and more radicalized, and for good reason. Like, some of these people truly believe that this stuff is they truly believe that Israel-Palestine is a genocide. And if you believe that, being mean to people that do commit genocides is okay. The reason why I have a hard time with that word is because, like, if we say the Democratic Party supports genocide, no one will ever support the Democratic Party again. When an actual genocide is happening, America typically wants to show the fuck up with boots on the ground. So if it's a genocide, we need to send soldiers in, and I don't want to do that. There are too many different parameters surrounding it that just make me uncomfortable with it. I can happily call out what's happening in Israel-Palestine. The way that what's happening in Gaza right now is dreadful. Too many people have died. This needs to fucking end. It needs to stop now. I can do all of that without labeling it genocide. Because it's the reason why one of the reasons why Kamala Harris didn't get elected. is because people like Hasan and other people like that would say that she's like, why would we vote her in? She's more of Joe Biden, and they're participating in genocide. It's like, well, maybe we should have voted them in because now essentially Trump is saying, get the fuck out of Gaza. We're going to buy it. We're going to rebuild it. And you Palestinians aren't allowed here. They need to go to the surrounding states, and they're not coming back. Now it is a genocide because of the way people voted. So that's the problem. You have to pick the lesser of two evils, whether you want to or not. Like, fixing something 15% is better than fixing something at all. No matter what you think, Biden did put limitations on what Netanyahu could do. He did tell them that we're not going to just endlessly fund you. He did tell them to seek negotiations. Trump isn't doing any of that. Trump doesn't give a fuck. He says kill them all. I mean, the outcomes are worse, you know what I mean? And if whoever puts the worst outcome up there needs to be held accountable. And people like Hasan with 2 million subscribers and 50,000 viewers on Twitch alone, could you imagine if he started multi-streaming? And he wouldn't even advocate for voting for Kamala Harris. Upcoming on an election going up against an actual rapist or someone who had been found guilty of 32 counts of crimes and who had literally led an insurrection against our country. No matter what your stance on Israel-Gaza is, you have to know that Trump is worse. But nope, no one cared. They're like, no, Daddy Hasan said I shouldn't do it. Daddy Hasan said there's no difference between these people. Jesus Christ.
In a contract position in 2023 when we were new in the space trying to make contact with more creators. We cut ties with Brianna December 2023 and for good, reason. As for Destiny, last year our media program consisted of trying to unite the audiences of as many political creators as possible in order to get them to cross over onto each other's content and advertise people.
Okay, but that's even bullshit. Destiny brought on so many people during this. He tried to bring people together in this event, and Destiny's audience was the most active in getting people elected. Destiny's people showed the fuck up. Meanwhile, when they got the far left people, like fucking, what's her dumb ass? I can't remember. What the fuck is her name? Frogan. They got people like Frogan. Well, no, the reason I don't call it a genocide is because some of the actions Israel's taken to mitigate some of the damages they were doing. I don't really want to get into that conversation, but we can if we must. So the reason why I don't call it a genocide, it's a multifaceted reason. One of them is because Israel does its best to try to mitigate civilian deaths. They send out mass text emails saying where they're going to attack, what they're going to bomb, what they're going to destroy. If your intent is to kill everybody in the area, you wouldn't do that. They send out knock bombs. They check in with lawyers. They actually integrated AI into their targeting systems, which have made some mistakes. Excuse me. All of these things to be said, these are showing clear indication that they're not trying to genocide. The mens rea for genocide is just not there. All the other stuff is, but also Israel wants to empower Gaza to some extent. I mean, oh God. Look, like I said, I don't want to get too deep into this conversation, but if, let's say, I wanted to commit a crime, I would have to have the state of mind to commit the crime. And that's how they would determine whether, like, to some degree, my level of guilt or, awakening. We use state of mind in a court of law for a reason. And when we're talking about the mens rea of genocide, it doesn't fit yet. Now, we are getting ever closer, especially now. I'd probably say it is a genocide now, realistically. But that's also because now the Democrats aren't in power, and Democrats are no longer trying to calm down the rhetoric or what's happening in Israel. Now that Trump is literally making plans to eradicate and push out Palestinians and not let them come back, it does now it does fully meet the criteria. And the mens rea is there as well, because I don't think that they're maintaining the same level of internal scrutiny. Now, I'd have to dig deeper into the more recent events, but mostly I'm talking about under Joe Biden. I haven't dug that back into Israel-Palestine after Trump won the election. I just know that he's doing a very bad job with it. So I'm talking about at the time when a lot of this stuff was blowing up on the internet and the conversation. Obviously, Donald Trump is worse. He's already admitted that he wants to rebuild Gaza as basically the pearl of the fucking the Middle East, and by doing so and displacing all of those people without the ability to return to their home country, it's kind of fitting that, and that does kind of fall farther into like the mens rea of genocide, because like Israel wasn't trying to push people out of Gaza to never come back. Israel doesn't want Gaza. Israel's given up Gaza multiple times. Israel also empowered the PLO to run Gaza. They paid the PLO to run Gaza. They also offered, a bunch of help to assist in the Gaza structure. And then, unfortunately, over time, Israel was just mean to PLO. And then eventually, over time, the PLO just seemed to be defanged. They weren't accomplishing the goals for Palestine. And eventually, Hamas rose up in dominance. And then, they were kind of essentially voted in to be the de facto leaders of Palestine, or at least Gaza, and then we get to where we are now. If Israel really wanted to commit a genocide, they could have. They could have, like, at the time that we're talking about, they could have boots on the ground. They could have been just fucking slanging bullets at anyone and everyone that walked by. But by and large, they were trying to follow a majority of the rules of conflict. They even talked with their lawyers. Their lawyers conferred with the UN multiple times. None of these things seem like the intent of doing bad. I mean, no, the intent of doing genocide. They did the intent of doing bad. It's a dangerous game. You know what I mean? Now you can go deeper into things. If I had to, I'd just pull up Destiny's research notes, because he dug into this so deep, and he's also probably, if people would empower Destiny to be the best Palestine defender of Palestine, he would do so good. Because unlike Hasan, he actually knows the dates, the times, the treaties, the fallouts, the statements. He's also been on the ground level. He's talked to these people. Now, I will say, if you've ever watched some of the debates where he actually has them with Zionists, they're scary. They are very scary. You're talking about people that are okay with what's happening in the West Bank. That's crazy. I think that they need to offer completely retreating from the West Bank as part of a peace negotiation. They need to stop expanding to the West Bank today. Or it should have been done a few years ago, honestly. Like, they have no right to that land, and what they're doing is actually illegal and wrong according to international law. The problem is, when people use international law as a defense for Palestine, it doesn't work, because Hamas doesn't follow any of the international laws or charters. They just don't give a shit. They're just going to do whatever the fuck they want. They also primarily fight in civilian attire. They also use human shields. They also are willing to attack non-combatants intentionally. These things are dangerous, man. It's dangerous.
TV's organizing program, what we quickly discovered is that most creators have very little desire to do either. With that, we scuttled our media program after the election and have not continued to mix liberal creators with our leftist values. Oh boy. Okay.
Liberal creators are the problem, huh? All right, well, PV, I will never defend you again. Suck a dick.
Now this one.
Ooh.
This one was a doozy. I can tell you how I felt when I read that, because like they didn't even, I don't think they approached me for this program. I approached them because I saw that I didn't even know what PV was or that it was a thing until like March or April of 2024, where I saw a bunch of mutuals that were talking about working with a PAC. And that got me really curious and excited, because for a really long time, I wanted to do more than just cover politics on social media. I wanted to have a more kind of direct involvement. Like, I wanted to feel like I was a part of something that was contributing in some way. And so I approached them. They got back to me and invited me into that program. What they offered me, like, I didn't, in terms of compensation, I didn't like push back and try to negotiate for anything more than what they were offering or whatever. And for me, it was not about like making a lot of money. That's not what it was about. It was about like potentially using my platform to make a difference, you know. And you know, I worked like I was, you know, I was like emailing with people within the program, brainstorming other ideas too. Like I wanted to be kind of more involved than just what.
But you could also have seen that, because like there was a cool debate that happened for Progressive Victory, and maybe one of these days we'll watch it, because I actually think it was probably one of the better debates. And like, look, it's from, I think the guy his name is Ian, and he's part of the Tim Pool show. And I don't really like Tim Pool at all. I used to watch him a lot like 4 years ago, and then I started going, he's kind of getting righty. He's kind of getting he's kind of going in a direction I don't want to go. And I started seeing when I started realizing, let me give you you can ask anyone that knows me. One of my biggest criticisms, even when Jordan Peterson was one of the people I watched a lot, and I thought he was like my hero, you know what I mean? Like the guy that's about to save the West, you know, which was a ridiculous statement to have in the back of my head. But one of my criticisms of him was I love how he can get in there and talk about the excesses of the far left, because I think the far left has gone way too far. But then I was like, he never really talks about the excesses of the far right. And I understand why he chose the far left. They were kind of in power for a long time, and we used a lot of their rhetoric and talking points to like put a boot on the throats of anyone that's willing to talk about a certain thing. And you know, I saw censorship for a long time in America. Like I said, I was on the pipeline to become MAGA, dude. I was right there. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't cross that, you know, that bridge. Because, you know, I try to stay, what I'm about to say is a red flag. If you hear someone say this, you should doubt what they're saying. But, my ability to be critical of things prevents me from, by and large, I mean, I can fall into echo chambers, and I think that I'm in one all the time. Whenever I have opinions that I think are a little one-sided, I start an argument with AI, and I'm like, rip me apart in the meanest way you can, as if you were like the furthest right person. You know what I mean? Just so I can try to recenter myself sometimes. But by being critical of many things, it can help you avoid from falling into certain areas. And then by having a wider breadth of or not breadth, well, that'd be the right word, but a wider scope of information that you can take in from right, left, center, libertarian. You know, I'll go watch debates on people I don't fucking like at all, just so I can hear what they're talking about and see what their civil war is. Yes. And you can see that in real time with people like Nick Fuentes and fucking Hasan Piker are the same people. I don't give a fuck what the differences are. The semantics between them are different. The outcome is the same. They are both advocating for the eradication of Israel proper entirely. Now, Nick Fuentes is because he's anti-Semitic. Well, now Hasan is because he's anti-Semitic. All right, anyway.
What they were having creators do with their media program. And so, like, when I read this, I felt like, it feels like kind of like a jab in the gut. Like, you know, I really felt like I was trying, like I really wanted to actually make some kind of a difference. So, yeah, I mean, and I wasn't the only one that had like a pretty negative reaction to this line here. It's like, wait a second, bro.
Yeah, because Kyla did that too. Not So Erudite. Not So Erudite was literally an organizer for Progressive Victory. And she openly talked about how hard it was to get people that were on the far left or that were like, you know, fake socialist. All right, look, let me just put this out there, okay? A lot of people that watch my content and they hear me bashing socialists, you go, oh, so you think socialism and communism is the same thing? It's like, well, no, they're not. But there's a difference here, okay? This is important. A lot of people that call themselves socialists in America are secret communists. And I say that because I can pull up evidence if you want me to. People like Schraderade or even Hasan have been caught on red tape, you know, like in hidden venues saying these things. Hasan has been on podcasts where he will advocate for a much lighter version of socialism so that he can then indoctrinate people into communism. So my problem with socialism is that it is a vector or a vehicle to like create more communists. My problem with socialism isn't socialism itself. It's that it's often used as a transitory platform to bring people into communism, or not neo, but like a Marxist Leninism. I do not like that. I am a liberal. I believe that all people should be able to say whatever the fuck they want to say as long as what they're saying isn't negatively hurting people's lives. I believe that you should be able to believe in any fucking God you want to believe in. There's a lot of good socialist. Exactly. There's so many good socialist ideas. And I would even argue that America, even to the extent of how little it is already to some degree a socialist country. We already have social welfare programs, and they're not good enough, by the way. I'm going to put that out there. But we already have social welfare programs. We already have things like, Medicaid. We already have Social Security. We already have food stamps. Now we need to expand these to be better and more inclusive for more people. But we need to also safeguard to where we aren't trying to completely rip away private property or the means of production, because investors also deserve money. If you invest in a country, you should get some kind of payback. Or else why the fuck would anyone invest? And if no one invests, then why, so many markets would fail. So many businesses would fail. You wouldn't be able to get loans from banks to start a business. All the people that talk about small businesses being good are done by investors, because people go to banks to open up a fucking business, and then the investments go through the bank. Come on, man. We need investors. We need less people to sit on money and more people to invest in the economy or the stock market or whatever. All of these things feed the economy. Those that spend money are doing good things. That's why you see people that are on the lower rung of society that spend every day. They're your biggest spenders in your economy. Because many of us, like myself included, I buy, stuff like this or figures like that or a fucking computer upgrade that isn't necessary. All of these things stimulate the economy. People that sit on money and just leave it in a bank account to incur fucking whatever, that is dangerous. Now, you should always have a rainy day fund, obviously, but whenever you have any access in money, you should find a way to invest that. And if you're putting money into the economy, hopefully you can get some money back out. But all you ever hear is the donor class. Sorry.
We, a lot of us were really massively trying to mobilize our audience to actually make a difference during the election year. But okay. This year, with stronger community leadership, we've doubled down on the things we are best at: building community and helping elect the candidates that they choose to support. Below, we have attached our revised mission statement published just prior to this drama unfolding. As you can see, our core organizing strategy is committed to replacing centrist Dems with real progressives. Does that sound like either Brianna Wu or Destiny? One final note: scrutinize us, criticize us, love us, hate us, call us out if you like, but our community is not Zionist. We backed Mamdani, and we will back many more like him. You'll just have to let our future actions speak for themselves. I don't know.
Wait, hold on, go back. Doxing isn't just releasing the information. It's releasing with malicious intent to harass or threaten. You can't absolve them of what they did, and it's gross to try. Fucking tomfoolery, you are a god! Hit him with it, dog.
More like him. You'll just have to...
Again, so when we were talking about Israel-Palestine, you have to talk about intent. Intent is what you used to determine things. Now, there are certain crimes that intent isn't important, such as statutory rape. Intent isn't important there. There is no reason that intent should be on the docket. If you had sex with a minor, whether you knew it or not, you're going to jail. Copyright is another one of those things. Copyright does not it's called a matter-of-fact crime. At least in America. I can't talk about other countries, clearly. But if you commit copyright infringement, doesn't matter what your intent was. Okay? Your intent could be noble, it could be pure, it could be evil. Doesn't matter. But with other crimes, you need malicious intent for it to be a crime. So, for example, there's a difference between buying the stuff to commit a murder unintentionally or buying the stuff with the intent to commit murder. That then becomes conspiracy to commit murder. These things are real and these are tangible. We have laws around these things. We have definitions around these things. So when we use things callously, like the word genocide, or woefully or freely, now again, these definitions might mean different things in different cultures. That I can't really, bring in, but you can't use the rules. UMC lawyer on your ass. So far, I haven't had. No, I just know that from the Ethan Klein lawsuit and paying attention to that a lot. Yeah, because I am pro Ethan Klein. I believe Denims and Frogan and all these people did commit. You know, this is a 40-minute video. I've been talking for 50 minutes. And I'm talking about a plethora of different things leading into this thing, and giving some of my own background. This is how you're supposed to do free use. Now, maybe I'm talking a little too much, but like I'm 7 minutes into this video and I've talked for 40 minutes. You're supposed to use the scope of the entirety of what you're doing and then interject a lot of your own opinions, thoughts, or be critical or dissect. You have to do all of these things in order, in order to, I think I need to refresh chat. It's not popping up. There we go.
Let our future actions speak for themselves. I don't know how much I want to get into like behind the scenes conversations, but they released another statement on Saturday. To be clear, we have never been a Zionist organization. No version of our old media strategy ever sought to or resulted in any of our creators altering their politics in any way. And just to be clear, just to reiterate that point, never at any point with any work that I was doing with PV did I alter my opinion in any way. They had no say on what I was putting out there, like in terms of the substance of the content. Like they had no involvement in any of that. They picked creators that they were aligned with, and back then they were more open to like working with liberals. Apparently that's not a thing for them anymore with their community, which that's fine if that's what you want to do. But they had, they did not dictate like what we were saying. They didn't tell us like what opinions to have, like nothing like that. And the important part right here is the clarification that this was never never a Zionist organization. Which right there, that just kind of blows up the conspiracy brain nonsense that people were putting out there about like PV being some like Zionist slush fund or whatever. Crazy to see PV just throw you all under the bus to, hey, listen.
They got to save their ass.
Reactions to that thread were not great. I'll just say that. However, they did clarify the group, Progressive Victory has never been a Zionist organization. They never had any kind of a say in terms of like the opinions that we were putting out there. Like nobody changed their politics in any way to be a part of PV. And just to, circle back around to what we were talking about a moment ago, like the problem was not that they filed an FEC report. Like every pack has to do that. Nobody was trying to hide that they did any work for PV.
What an interesting dynamic. So like you have people like Hasan, Bad Apanada, Mike from PA, who used to be a conservative, who he voted conservative. He ran as a conservative in his district, so he's literally just a charlatan. He's just literally saying what he can and joining an orbit to make money. The man's a motherfucking grifter. He's a piece of shit. But it's funny because Progressive Victory literally just helped get Madani a fucking elected. They backed him. They probably did canvassing for him. They probably helped with his organizations, and they did anything they could to help assist with an actual socialist becoming into power. And instead, you have Mike from PA openly torching them, and like you should go after the content creators if you don't like them. But he's like also talking bad about Progressive Victory, literally the only socialist progressive movement that's gaining any traction, that had big names behind it before, that are considered centrist. So more liberals that aren't aware of what's happening now might still like dump behind them because PV is something that they understand and know and they recognize for the like last 3 or 4 years.
And I don't know if people are being intentionally dishonest about this or if they're just obtuse, but the way that they're framing it is that we wanted the payments to be secret and PV messed up by making it public. But that's not the issue. Nobody cared that this was like a public filing that you have to do when you're doing expenditures as a PAC. That was not the problem. The problem was that they didn't give us the heads up to set up like a PO box so that they wouldn't post, personally identifiable information on the FEC filing. They just didn't give us any kind of heads up. I didn't know. Like, I had no idea like that information goes on to FEC filing.
Oh,
and so
boring.
it should have been on the pack to educate their creators.
Why is Destiny like the only one that can make their shit interesting, bro? Like, come on, dude. Fuck.
These kind of filings take place, and so if you want to avoid any kind of like PII showing up on a FEC report, you know, it takes how long to set up a PO box? Like what, like a day? Like, yeah. Anyways, what we quickly discovered is that most creators have very little desire to do either. How else can you explain how this makes it seem like everyone had issues working together? I have no idea why they posted that thread the way that they did. I can tell you.
Well, you can tell, like, so this is something that's interesting. Destiny did start causing a bit of problems, I'm not going to lie. Because initially, Destiny and Emma Vigeland and Vosh had to do a panel together with, I think, an actual senator at the time. And then, like, it went pretty well. I mean, something that annoys me is when you see like a content creator with a large audience, like Emma Vigeland, who's part of the Sam Cedar report or majority report or something like that. Something that annoys me about it is when she's like, well, I'm just a content creator. Like, no, lady, you're on a channel with like a couple million subscribers, and you know, I'm not saying you can control your audience, you can't do that. But, you know, you can get out and be like, hey, anyone in this area want to get together and do an event? Instead of just make videos on the internet, you can actually put boots on the ground. So the idea that, like, content creators or people that have a fan base can't do things is ridiculous. You can just use Ren as an example, by the way. Could you, like, when Ren says, hey, we're going to do a busking event, people are going to show up if he says where they're at. You know what I mean? Like, people show up for the things they enjoy, if they can. And if you enjoy trying to fight for equality and women's rights and all these other things, you know, she can put boots on the ground there. You know, if Sam Cedar shows up at one of these events, it'll blow up. Hasan Piker says, hey man, we're going to do an event here. People will show up. You have tangible, not power, but you have some form of influence if you get to a certain size. And pretending like that size or that influence is irrelevant is insane. It's downplaying the amount of impact people have. Like, so many people have made dramatic changes to the way things work in multiple areas in the world or countries or whatever, and they're just individuals. People can change things, especially if you're charismatic and you have the ability to, like, inspire. Like, just look at what Trump did. One man nearly toppled the entire United States through his bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, Trump wasn't super powerful before. He was just rich and an actor. Oh my God, what power did he have? But then he, like, you know, used his audience and then blew that into a fucking movement. So when people like Emma Vigeland say these things, you're like, come on, stop it. And Hasan says, well, I can't moderate my chat. And it's like, well, yeah, you can, dude. One, you pay moderators for a reason. Two, yes, you can. You can moderate your chat. You can allow certain things to be said. If there were people in here saying, like, death to blacks, do you think I would let them still be in here? No, I would ban that person. And then that conversation or those type of statements wouldn't be here or live. Come on, man. Like, you can moderate things. If people are saying an unhinged shit in your chat, you can kick them the fuck out. You have that power. You might lose a viewer. Bummer. But yeah, man, you can moderate things. But Destiny did cause a little bit of problems because the day after they had that event, you know, Vosh did a hit piece on him and came out and saying all these mean things about Destiny and how he's a piece of shit. And then Destiny was like, I'm just done participating with these people. I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? So, like, he did shut down that after setting up a good couple debates and, you know, putting a lot of boots on the ground.
That I was collaborating with a bunch of other PV creators. I was doing my best to try to, like, steer my community in that direction because I felt like it was something tangible. It felt like it was like a group that you could join to do various canvassing efforts around the country. Like, it was an opportunity for people to actually take some kind of substantive action, some kind of tangible action. Honestly, their Twitter thread felt very emotional to me, more than an official statement. Well, you know, they're in a tricky spot when you think about it. They're in a tricky spot.
Exactly. Hundreds of people show up on Brighton streets fast when Ren and the Big Push have a random show. People are getting hotel rooms overlooking the main drag just because. Exactly. Like, if you build an audience and, you know, you go do things, like, let's say we end up, like, let's say, even me, like, I'm a small guy. If I say, hey, man, let's go meet at a pub and I'm going to be in this town, and you're, like, within 20 miles there. You think you probably would show up, man. Get a pizza or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though that's not like the same level of these things, like, you would just have to amplify it based on the size. You know what I mean? Like, people have some form of power. Well, not power, but they have influence. And to pretend like you don't is just ridiculous. Now, the level of your influence depends on the size of your audience. I'm in, homie. Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Spot when you think about it, because it looks like so they don't want to work with liberals anymore. Okay, if you want to be an exclusively leftist group, that's fine, I suppose. But you just imagine the type of people that are in that group now.
And see, this is also a further indication that we should stop courting them. I think the left civil war is here, and we need to be involved. They're saying that they don't want to have liberals on their platform anymore. Good. Thank you. I need more evidence that you're separating yourself from liberals. I need more Hasan mask off moments where they say liberals are the problem. If you're ever in Houston, I'll entertain the fuck out of you. Let's go. Let's do it, man. That's a drive, but I'll be down there one day. I mean, dude, in 3 years, I plan on taking my van into a van life world. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, dog. I wonder why the chat shows up over there sometimes now, but it won't show up over here. A little strange. It's probably because I'm such a small channel that it's just bugging out.
And, imagine you've been working with PV and you're endorsing candidates like Mamdani, and they've endorsed other candidates in the last year that have been pretty far left. And you've kicked out all the liberals, and then one day, the biggest left-wing streamer on Twitch is accusing PV of being a Zionist slush fund. You know what I mean?
I love it. Call it out. Call it out. Barbecue and shenanigans. Fuck yeah, dude. We're gonna tear up, man. We're gonna tear up Houston.
Imagine being a part of that community and you're like, what the fuck? What? We endorse Mamdani, and now they have to defend themselves against the biggest left-wing streamer on Twitch, maybe on YouTube as well. And you obviously don't want to alienate Hasan's audience either. So in a way, I'm sympathetic. But still, it felt felt not great. Yeah, but anyways, we can restart at the beginning here. But Mike his analysis is off, because the problem was not that they did an FEC filing. Nobody cared about that. Nobody was trying to hide that they were working with PB. It was not a secret. If it was a secret, it was the worst kept secret of 2024. Okay.
Yeah, because it was in the name of a lot of the videos. They would walk up and be like, "We're here with Progressive Victory." No one was hiding they were working with Progressive Victory. What the fuck? That's when I started watching Destiny full time, when he was working with Progressive Victory. I've only been watching Destiny full time for 3 years. I used to think Destiny was a fucking moron. I really did. You know what I mean? Until his Kyle Rittenhouse thing. You got to remember, my exposure to Destiny was his debate with Sargon of Akkad. And remember, Sargon of Akkad is a far right guy. Okay, he believes some stupid, disgusting shit. But at the time, he was mask on when he joined the anti-SJW movement that was primarily filled with moderate leftists. Other than the Amazing Atheist, the Amazing Atheist is far left as fuck. And I still love him. I just can't watch his shit anymore because I disagree with a lot of what he says. And I was a cringe kid back then, man. Well, kid, I was 20-something, whatever. Dipshit. We'll just say a cringe dipshit. I forgot what I was saying. My brain doesn't work. So my exposure to Destiny was that debate with JonTron, Sargon of Akkad, and that was crazy. And remember, I was a huge JonTron fan at the time, man. I still sing that song, his version of Firework by Katy Perry. It's just awesome. Ego Raptor is the whole reason I got into making content. Full stop. The reason I started making content was because sequelitis. I wanted to do deep dives into video games and talk about sequels, and I wanted to talk about good games, bad games, good game design, all of these things. That's why I started YouTube 12 years ago. And then I got addicted to League of Legends, and everything went downhill for a while. I even have a review for Dark Souls 2 on this channel, I believe, still to this day. I have a review for the first Destiny game. That being said, like anyway, so like Destiny for me initially was I was fanboys of JonTron, so I was a fanboy for JonTron, but I already didn't like Destiny. Now I've gone back and rewatched that debate, and Destiny mopped the floor with him, and there's a reason why JonTron left the internet. But then Sky Williams, because this happened in League of Legends, this happened around Twitch a long time ago. There was a debate between Civ HD and Sky Williams versus Destiny and CaseyTron. And in that debate, I hated Destiny. I thought everything he said was wrong. I think it was disgusting. And I don't like that he was running defense for, letting booby streamers be booby streamers. A lot of us have complained about that for a long time. My complaints were because I was a small content creator and I couldn't get any traction. But most of it was coming from a personal area and not necessarily like a deep philosophical area or something that required any level of thought. I was just being a greedy little bitch. Or not a greedy little bitch, I was being a butthurt little bitch because I wasn't getting views. And I'd be making videos and getting 20 views. And then I saw like women that were just super attractive getting tens of thousand views. And I was just like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? And then I got banned on Reddit. I got banned on League of Legends Reddit. And I was just like, all right, well, for self-promotion. Because I didn't use the website other than to promote my stuff. And I guess you're not allowed to do that. At least on that particular subreddit. But then Total Biscuit joined in, and he said a lot of smart shit. May he rest in peace. Total Biscuit, the hero of games and gaming journalism. Though we disagree on a few things, I love you, brother, and your defense of Warframe and League of Legends in the early years were outstanding, and he was a good authority on a lot of topics. Man, it's a bummer he got cancer. Such a bummer. I used to watch the Co-optional podcast all the time. Long before podcasts were popular, by the way. I was doing that like, fuck, dude, what was that, 2012? And then they got bought by Disney and everything went to shit. Anyway, Polaris. That's when they switched the name to Polaris. I remember that shit. Fuck, dude, that was so long ago.
In alignment.
I've been adjacent to all this shit for so long.
With their political objectives. In this country, there is a wide public policy interest in uncovering paid influence operations in politics. You took the money. It is reported. Now, I'm not saying that somebody should leak his home address.
I mean, that's an obvious dog whistle, right? Am I crazy? That feels like an obvious dog whistle, right?
I'm not saying somebody should leak his phone number. I'm not saying that Hutch should have his credit card number published.
Wait, hold on. I can barely see what I want to see what his chat is saying when he says that. I don't know why we're using this video here. Hold on.
Now, I'm not saying that somebody should leak his home address. I'm not saying somebody should leak his phone number.
Apparently, Hutch may be violating Twitch TOS. What's going on here, buddy?
I'm not saying that Hutch should have his credit card number published. But if you take $2,000 from a political PAC for the purpose of advertising, where are they advertising it, Hutch? Your stream, which you did not disclose, violating.
This is just like a malicious lie here. Like, that, I don't know what else to call this. It's not a misunderstanding. Like, he's just making a claim. He's just like making it up. Like, he's saying that I didn't disclose. Like, what are you basing that off of? By the way, like, what the fuck? Like, what are you actually basing that off of? I don't think that.
React Inception. React. Unfortunately, this is how news gets around these days. It's kind of bullshit. I will never fully just go watch a fucking, what's his name's, Mike from PA. I don't want to support Mike from PA in any way. So in a way, I'm making Hutch committing content for copyright. Because I'll watch Hutch's response to it, but I'm not going to watch Mike from PA. Mike from PA is a disgusting human that I wouldn't wish violence to him. But I'll tell you what, man, if he was falling on the floor in front of me, I would laugh a lot for a long time before I picked his ass up. Still pick him up, but I would enjoy the show first. Unless it was like a fatal fall. Obviously, humanist, we gotta try and lift each other up. Even the people I can't stand deserve to be treated with respect and to be treated as humans. And humans should be, we shouldn't be advocating for ceasement of individuals, even if their ideas are dangerous and disgusting. Hey, it's Tracy. What's going on, girl?
This is a misunderstanding. I don't think it's just like, oh, he got bad information. Like, I think he's just lying. Like, I think this is just, they see me, you know, calling attention to what Hasan did a week and a half ago. And they want to retaliate. Like Mike and all of Hasan's other orbiter like acolytes, they just go into attack mode, and you know, like this is their way of retaliating. But the claim that I did not make any kind of disclosure is just comically wrong. It's just fabulously wrong.
Federal election communications guidelines, which you did not disclose, violating federal election communications guidelines. If anything, you violated the law, Hutch.
Now he's accusing me of violating the law.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I'll still laugh when a homie falls, dog. I got you there. I'm on that page, but like the length of the laugh is going to be greatly increased depending on the maliciousness that I have, or the what's the word I'm looking for? The animosity that I have for an individual. You might get a few chuckles if you're the homie, and if it's really funny, you know what? Just so people can see this, you know what I mean? Let's do this. Let's do this. I want to show the world that we're gonna do this one of the Vine real quick, just so that everyone can feel it's a little bit better. If you are ever having a day where I say something that makes you uncomfortable, yeah. I fear the day if Ren ever watches one of my videos, like for a great amount of detail or length, because you know, I say some off the wall shit. But I just want to show you a funny thing that if you ever get mad at me or I say something that makes you mad and you don't want to unsubscribe but you want to see me get a little bit of a, you know, egg on my face, you can always watch one of the Ren videos where I make a wrong prediction, and that would be more than fine. But you could always watch this one too. Play a minute video, and it's a recording of me at my job when I was I was living in Pomona and I was working in Montana.
All right, here he goes.
So one of the buddies I was at work with was behind me, hit me in the ass with a fucking shop rag. And bro, that little white dude had like the aim of a god, dude. Tim did not fuck around at all.
I was leaving. I'm like, peace out, dog. There he goes.
I was walking. It doesn't look like I was running, but that's how fast I moved. So, and then someone put a brake drum in front of this fucking door. Boom! Fatty gonna roll.
Look at my head too. I go.
He just like.
Tim's just fixing the rim. Like, all right, I'm going
He goes
inside.
like this.
Wait, well, watch my head.
But you roll good though.
You roll good, though. That's been my catchphrase for a long time, bro. This video it's called Fatty Falling at Work. This thing is 10 years old. If you ever have a moment where you want to watch me biff it, it's right here, boys. All right.
Law, or I don't even know if this would be considered like violating the law. I don't know if it would be like violating a regulation. Is there a difference between the two? I'm not sure. But now he's accusing me of doing crimes.
In fact, we should be filing complaints to the Federal Election Commission because you never disclosed when you were doing your advertising content.
Again, just a complete fabricated lie, like not based on anything.
Unless the PAC is filing false disclosures.
Your life is like tires. Yes. Yep. Dude, I'm telling you, I love the show Tires for a reason. Me and Shane Gillis, he's my spirit animal. I'm telling you right now. Some of the things that happen in that has literally happened. I can't tell you how often, how uncomfortable it was being surrounded by people with a bunch of guns. And as a liberal, you know how uncomfortable it is to be in constant work environments where everyone is a redneck? Like, I love all the people I worked with. I love them all so much. But I heard a lot of fucked up shit. I remember one time, like literally a year and a half ago, I was working at Tire Discounters in Lebanon, Ohio. And a lady came in, and I shit you not, dude. I'm not making this up. This happened, okay? Word for word. She came in and she was like, hey, I need an oil change. And I'm like, oh, that's okay, ma'am. Let me go out and get your odometer. Let me go get the year, make, and model and write down your license plate. My fat ass waddled out there. I got all the information, you know, came back in. I was like, okay, ma'am, so what type of oil change are you getting today? Your type of vehicle does not require full synthetic, so we can actually pick between semi-synthetic, regular oil, or full synthetic. These are the prices for these, and these are what they do. You know, all that stuff, okay? And then I gave her a recommendation based off of the age of her vehicle because of the amount of mileage she had. But I didn't, you know, I don't force anybody. I'm a liberal selling oil in Texas. Yeah, you get it, dude. You get it. But then, you know, we wrote up the whole ticket, and I'm like, ma'am, go ahead and sit yourself over there. You know, we have free waters that you can drink. The TV remote is over there. Make yourself comfortable. This woman looked me dead in the face and said, just a tiny little old white woman, dude. Like, I'm talking like maybe 60s, dude. And then she said, okay, just make sure none of the inwards work on my car. I didn't know what to say. Like, obviously I'm a business. I can't turn away her business for her being disgusting. But like, that, what? Like, do you, like, yo, what? Why do you feel comfortable dropping, like, dude, and it had the ER, dude. It had the R, dude. It wasn't just like, you know, the rap verse. Like, I was like, oh my God. That it was then and there that I knew Donald Trump was going to win the election. I was like, fuck, dude. This is a swing state and these people are getting crazy. We're fucked. And then I saw it on the map in real time and I was like, yep, knew it, called it. Yay. Tracy, you need to always stay positive. I'm never well though, but I'm always just trying to keep on keep on living. Hope you are well. Well, we need to change that. Damn, this video is taking way too long to get through. And I'm sorry, Hutch, I'm gonna be honest, I've never finished a Hutch video. I don't know why I started this. I just really hate Mike from PA.
To be clear, I just want to say, to be clear, doing that is a crime. Encouraging people to file false FEC complaints is a crime, just to be clear. And this is another clear-cut, clear as day, blatant violation of Twitch's own TOS. Using your audience in an attempt to do, again, like a more like a coordinated harassment campaign. But now on top of that, encouraging his audience to go to like the FEC and file some kind of complaint against me. Like, I don't understand why these guys cannot just be normal human beings. Like, is it that fucking hard? You know, we can have all the disagreements in the world about ideology or policy or campaigns and candidates, strategy. We can disagree about all of those things, and it doesn't need to escalate to like calling the fucking government and trying to involve the government. Like, what is with this particular crowd and like filing CPS complaints, filing FEC complaints, like involving the government?
Because they're radical fucking online freaks that don't actually put boots on the ground to go do any of their stuff. A lot of the people on the far left, or these people that are insane like this, all they do is farm for outrage and purity test. You will never be on their side all the way. You're on their side up until they find a way to make you not. They cannibalize each other. Like, and they don't give a shit about political power. They don't care about winning elections. All they care about is getting on the internet and fucking complaining. All they do. Are you here till 3 again? I don't know if I'll be here that long. If I do less videos, like the reason why I want to try and do bigger videos so that I spend less time having to edit afterwards, because it's taking me a lot of time to try and get these things out afterwards. And you know, I understand why the bigger content creators can do this shit all the time, like Destiny, Hasan, Bosch, Hutch. I'm pretty sure all of these people have editors. I don't have that. So once I'm done streaming for 6 hours, then I have to spend 5 hours cutting and cropping. It might be a little too much. I'm trying to lower the amount of videos I do on stream, or do longer videos, and then do a little less music, because the music ones I have to, not only do I have to cut, crop, make the thumbnail and all that, which I'm not complaining. My job is super easy. It just takes time. But because like I'm not sweating, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't go, when I get done with my work day, I'm not in pain when I get home. You know what I mean? Like, I just walk out that door. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. So, I mean, the complaints that I have are first world problems. Let me put that out there. But a majority of the content creators, after they do like a 6 or 9 hour stream, someone else is doing all the actual hard work. They just show up. The editing process now, and I'm not even like editing my videos yet. I'm gonna go make like proper, like intros and stuff. So when I do the videos, it looks a little bit, looks a little more articulate and just not directly ripped from the stream. But I just need a little, I need to grow a little better at doing all this, because before I would just turn on stream and play League of Legends all day. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm actually trying to do this stuff. And one of the bigger problems that I have is when I do music, a lot of it's copyright strikes. So the stream just ends and then it gets completely removed from the internet until I go in and do the copyright strike and I try to do stuff. But like, for some reason, one of the ads yesterday, the visual got me in a lot of trouble. And then like the video can't go back up until it clears. So even like me trying to be a good guy and watching the ads so people get paid is actually negatively impacting my channel. I want to continue to do it, but now when an ad is playing, I'm going to click away so that, these guys still get paid, but my content doesn't get fucking nuked in the process. So when you're trying to be a good guy, sometimes you just get dicked down. But sometimes getting a little loving ain't a bad thing.
Like, why does it have to escalate to this degree? It is so unnecessary. You can attack my arguments or my appearance,
I'm gonna install ad block.
my beliefs,
No, I never
my
do
analysis.
That. I don't knock people that do. Your time is valuable, right? I don't expect you guys to watch the ads on my content. Gotta go sort my little boy out for a bath. Was good to catch on you live, William. Catch you later. Love you, Tracy. Be safe. We gotta chat again. I have my phone. I gotta get my phone working again. And be safe, my darling. Be safe.
That's all fine. That's a part of the game. We cover politics on social media. People come to us for our opinions, and then we listen to other people's opinions and have conversations about those opinions, and we disagree on a lot of stuff. All of that is fine. Why are we trying to mobilize our audiences to go to the government? Like, what the fuck are we doing? It didn't always work like that.
Well, I mean, that has to be expected, Hutch. Come on, these are the people that believe that everything should go to the government. You know what I mean? They believe the government should control work. They control every aspect of your life. Like, these are the people that do that shit. Of course, when they want to get someone to much love. Hell yeah, Tracy, be safe, darling. You beautiful angel. But like, of course they're going to want the government to step in. That's like their whole shtick. They want the government to control everything. And they want to be the ones in the government to control everything. They're just authoritarians with extra steps. Oops, clicked the wrong thing.
Like this. This wasn't always normal, okay? We don't need to involve the government. I don't know why we're doing this. So, I don't know. I reported the VOD similarly like I reported Hasan's VOD. We'll see if anything happens. It won't. All right, Denim's had a take on.
It won't. It never does. It can't. Fuck. I don't like either of the people on the screen right now. Pisco or Prime.
On the recent Hasan discourse.
Can we get to the slop today?
I know everybody's been looking forward to this segment of the stream. Well, you're in luck, because we're finally going to dive into Denim's opinions on the quote-unquote drama slop. Everyone's been looking forward to it. Let's dive in.
Someone just said I streamed the address of Dylan Burns. Just said you streamed his addy. Is that true? Why the fuck?
Open presents. Thank you for the 25 gift subs. Thank you so much.
She's getting 25 gifted subs. Jesus, what does the brother have to do? I'll do it. I'll wear the exact same outfit as she does in this video if it means you guys gifting me 25 subs. I'll do it.
I'm sorry, dude. You look too much like Joe Rogan right now. I couldn't see you getting anything like that. I don't know why you're doing the bald thing, bro. You was a sexy motherfucker before. This one, you just look like you're mad all the time. I'm sorry, Hutch. I can't say anything. I'm going bald, and I am 4 times your size and girth. I'm a girthy girl.
I'll fucking do it. I don't care. I've always wanted to wear women's clothing. There's something appealing about that. I kind of get it. Like, I kind of get it,
Get it,
Do
dog.
you think I know who the fuck Dylan Burns is?
In fact, I do.
He clearly knows who Dylan Burns is. He's reported on Dylan Burns before. I've always wanted a small statue. Ooh.
I don't think that you know Dylan Burns. I know that you know Dylan Burns.
Yep.
Like everybody in the space, apparently everybody except Hasan's own audience, knows that Hasan knew and knows who Dylan Burns is.
Or what?
He knew enough about Dylan Burns to guess that Dylan was like some like super neoliberal. What did he say earlier in the stream today? Isn't that super neoliberal guy or something? Like I don't know what he said, but that was like 5 years ago. So
Also, respect to Dylan Burns. Like anyone who's gonna try and trash Dylan Burns is literally in Ukraine right now. He goes to Ukraine all the time. He's on the ground reporting the events that are happening in Ukraine in real time. Dylan Burns is probably the most journalistic person out of all the people Hasan will talk about. Like that motherfucker literally puts his life on the line to get the news out about what's happening on the ground floor of Ukraine. Dylan Burns, I don't really like watching his content, but I give him a lot of respect for what he does. His content's a little rough for me because, like myself, or even to some degree Hutch, a lot of people have, oh yeah, where justice is blind. Fuck yeah, yeah. And justice should be blind. All that matters are the facts. But Dylan Burns has a hard time articulating what he's saying, and this is gonna sound bad on my part, and I apologize. But if content creators have a hard time using their words, or they have like poor communication with their audience, or that's not their correct term. Look at me fucking this up already. When you aren't properly able to articulate the feelings that you're having, and you use like a lot of filler content or words, it's harder to watch. You know what I mean? And like they just don't have the voice. I don't know. Maybe it's that a certain level of riz is required for me to interject, like, you know, enjoy your content as much as I do. And like, I don't know if you know this, but when Destiny wants to get up on that mic and riz it up, he can sound good. Like he does have, I need to find out what type of recording equipment he's using to make his voice do what it does sometimes. Normally Destiny sounds like a little punk bitch, but every once in a while he can get in there and then it's got this level of rasp to it and it just reminds me of like old talk radio. I don't know what that is. I need to figure that out. I need to start listening to like getting into audio quality or something. I think that's something that I need to start doing. Because like a well-spoken message to me is giving music to the ears. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe my brain is broken. Sometimes even if you say something I like, but you say it in a poor way, I just, it's not my style. But Dylan Burns is a talented young man who's actually very good at rhetoric. He's also good at when he knows a point, you're not getting past him on stuff. Typically though, I think he likes to moderate debates when he's doing them. But yeah. Oh my god, some reactors are so amazing with their descriptions of music. I don't mean the ones who like are really good at breaking stuff down, just the ones who really appreciate music. Exactly. Someone who can articulate things in a way that is just, it's hard to explain, man. It's that level of articulation just adds so much more bravado to a thing. And the reason I got into that is because Ego Raptor, again, his sequelitis episodes were so well done. Matter of fact, maybe one of these days we'll watch some of them on the stream and I'll show like why I started getting into content to begin with. That's you, well-spoken and great voice. Look, I'm glad you guys think that, but I cannot stand the way I sound when I listen to it. If I listen to my own content, I have to speed it up because I just, it's not for me, you know. And also, I just need to find better ways to EQ. Actually, the mic stand should be here tomorrow, so I don't have to hang this on here anymore. And then, like, I can actually properly do stuff. And then my actual key light will be activated tomorrow as well because the power wire for it. So my face will be properly lit up and you guys can actually see what I look like in the worst possible way. No one likes their own voice unless you're egotistical. I bet you there are some people that just really get into their own sauce. It's just, I'm not one of those guys. Excuse me. Headphone throwing reactions. What? Yo, sometimes like that Chinchilla song I think it was Cold Water or the Fly one where I think Chinchilla nearly killed me, bro. I was spazzing out. My head set came out, and then I got a cramp in the back of my neck. She was taking me out. She heard what I said about her outfit, and she wasn't having any of it.
He obviously knows of Dylan Burns, right?
He does, let alone find his address and then stream it? What are these people saying, bro?
What do you mean?
How is she going to cover this? Like, I'm so curious. Like, what is the actual
She's going to run defense for him because these people are blue MAGA. They don't care. They don't care. These people have no morals. They'll say whatever. Oh, sorry, I need to move that because now it looks like I've
defense
seen
that these people are running for him? I honestly don't know.
But like Hasan's ilk and his orbiters and these people, like I know so many pro-Palestine people that aren't insane. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being pro-Palestine at all. You can openly admit that the Palestinian people are in a really shitty position and they do not have the power and they are disenfranchised. And so the burden of responsibility on those that are in power are higher. Anyone can agree to that. You don't have to be, you don't have to be like a, you don't have to be a genius or anything like that to determine those that are in power have a higher responsibility to use that power in a way that is not fucking harmful to the rest of the world. That's why what Hasan does is dangerous. Because Hasan is kind of like, he's the biggest content creator now, especially because Asmongold is taking a break. I didn't even know that. But now Hasan is back on top. There's no one to compete with him anymore. And there's no way to hold him account because Twitch lets him do whatever he wants. So he can say whatever he wants without any remorse or repercussions. And he doesn't give a fuck. He can just gaslight or lie. And there's no negativity coming his way from like actual people in power. People watching are starting to catch on, but his viewers aren't going down. And it's because he's super attractive. You don't have to be pro-Hamas to be pro-Palestine. Exactly. In fact, I think that a majority of people should be just anti-Hamas because if your criticisms of Israel are they're not following, fuck, I just said it earlier. I said the actual term, but I can't remember. You were the first that I had a leg falling asleep moment the day I subscribed. Yo, bro, you guys ever remember the moments where I'd be streaming and you'd see me like lean back and give it like a yelp? That's because my leg was falling asleep recording. Like every time. Luckily, this new chair, I don't have that problem at all. Plus, I'm already getting way healthier. My clothes don't fit anymore. Look at the fucking saggage of this, bro. Like before, I used to have to pull my fucking necklace out. That motherfucker almost hangs out on its own now. Jesus Christ. I forgot what I was saying about Hasan, but I'm pretty sure it'll come back around. And actually, I still have to make a positive video on Hasan, actually. I do, because that video that I said, if this video got enough likes, I'd make a positive video on Hasan. Challenge accepted. I ran my mouth and now I must pay the price. Ooh, that's going to be a rough one. But you know what? If I can't do it, that means I'm too dug in and maybe I need to reevaluate some things. Because Hasan can do things correctly as well. I just hate the way he fucking talks. So,
No, Mike keeps his VODs private for only subscribers, and I am not giving that guy a Prime sub. So I have no idea what the larger context was of Mike's stream. I haven't seen what like Denim's like. I know what his followers are saying, which is that they're doing a whataboutism with Ethan, because Ethan referenced a lawsuit and showed a screenshot of the top line of the lawsuit that he's engaged in with Denim's, where it showed her real name, which I guess if you want to concede like that, according to Twitch TOS, that might qualify as doxing as far as they're concerned. But again, the intent has to be to get people to harass that person. There's obviously a big difference between having somebody's name on your screen and having somebody's city, state, and then zip +4. These are like very different examples. That's really been the only defense that I've seen. Like the other defenses I think are not, like they just don't really make any sense. Like, oh, he didn't notice that the information was on the screen. Like, I don't understand how that's plausible. It's either that or it's not doxing because it's a public filing, which this is not how TOS defines like doxing according to their enforcement of TOS.
Got you.
It doesn't matter if it's public information. In fact, my understanding is that 95% of doxes, I don't know where the statistic came from. This is just something that I saw people throwing out there. 95% of doxes, like they involve getting information from a public website and then, using it in a way that directs like harassment towards that person. So it's not like the fact that it's a public filing that doesn't insulate you from any kind of accountability. And then they just do like the whataboutism. And I'm assuming that's what she's going to do here. It's also important to point out that, and this is just a technicality, but it's true. I don't think Ethan is on Twitch, right? Does Ethan stream on Twitch, by the way? I don't think he does. I think he just streams on YouTube. I could be wrong. But YouTube's TOS, I don't think what Ethan did in terms of showing the first page of the lawsuit with her real name, according to YouTube's TOS, I don't think they consider that to be some kind of a doxing thing. Twitch's terms do. They absolutely do. That's my understanding. Don't take me at my gospel word on that. Hold on. Let me just look this up. What is YouTube's policy, TOS policy on doxing? Prohibits doxing, which includes sharing someone else's personal information without their permission. This policy applies to content that threatens to share or encourages sharing non-public, personally identifiable information. So I think YouTube's terms specify that if it comes from a public source, then you can show it, you can report on it. That's just a cursory Google search. There could be more to the policy, but I think that alone right there makes it different from Twitch. Twitch's TOS, absolutely, it doesn't matter if it's public information, which I guess kind of makes sense for YouTube, because YouTube, they also host a lot of like proper news channels, like Fox News and NBC and CBS. Like they have a YouTube presence, and they're going to be reporting on public information, like things that are found in like public filings or documents or whatever. Yeah. Didn't H3 get banned on Twitch for streaming the content nuke 24/7? I think so, but I don't think they stream their podcast on Twitch.
Are we just fucking... You still haven't denied it?
Why do people like listening to Hasan talk, dude? Could you imagine if I'm like doing that shit? I would fucking blow my brains out, dude. I swear to God. Why does he do these like long, exaggerated pauses where he just throws in the lamest sound effects with the most forced fucking giggle I've ever heard in my life? How is it someone who does this 9 hours a day is getting worse at doing this? Is he just getting really high and then phoning it in? I don't understand.
Like things that are found in like public filings or documents or whatever. Didn't H3 get banned on Twitch for streaming the content nuke 24/7? I think so, but I don't think they stream their podcast on Twitch.
Are we just fucking... You still haven't denied it?
What defense is she gonna...
Nikki, my dear, just popping in to say hi and stretch my comfort level with peopling. Hey Nikki, I want to let you know something. Whatever you're going through, whatever's on your docket today, whatever's got you feeling in any direction, I miss you. I wish you the best, and you light up my day every time I see some of your comments. So, if you ever need to talk, please send me a message on Discord. I want to make sure that one of my golden girls is okay. You and Hasan have a similar laugh sometimes. Ouch! Pixie, why? Alright, it's okay. I accept it. Maybe I'm more of a Hasan than I am a Destiny. I take it. I'll take it, dude.
A run for him, guys. We need to guess. I do think she's going to mention the lawsuit. I do think she's going to do a whataboutism for Ethan. And I think she'll probably do the whole, like, it was public information thing. And then, yeah, I think it's going to be those two. I could be wrong. We'll see if she runs any other defenses for it.
What the?
A lot of these YouTube channels have partner managers who facilitate their channels. I think I might have a partner manager on YouTube. I don't know. But I definitely don't have a partner manager on Twitch. Like, I don't have a direct... There was a time when I knew, like, 15 people that worked at Twitch. And I had somewhat of a direct line. So if I had any issues, there were, they were usually remedied.
Let me guess, they all got laid off because the site isn't making any money anymore. Fuck Dan Clancy.
Like pretty quick because I just knew so many people that worked at Twitch, right? And now I'm a fucking dinosaur, bro. I don't know. I literally don't know a single person who works at Twitch. Like I don't think I know of anyone that works at Twitch. I could be wrong.
Not in a creepy way. I know, darling. I know. Still, I miss you. I don't see you in the TTP as much, and I'm like, no, Nikki, you were so happy in there, and we were getting so much going. But I understand. You got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your mental. That's number one. No amount of content or any of this stuff overrides that. And just know whenever you're willing to come back and hang out and do your thing, we're always welcome and we miss you. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck. Are people just like now they've decided?
Didn't you defend Ethan Klein when he was accused of doxing? So there were two examples that they used for Ethan. One of them, again, on YouTube, he did not violate any of those policies, to be clear. The two examples that were given were...
I think at this point we need to make a federal rule about doxing and probably swatting and all these other things. At this point we need to make actual legislation around these things, because I know as ridiculous as it sounds, I think these things are going beyond merely just the means of a platform. I think we need to actually write some in-depth laws about this, because people's lives are ruined. Some people, I think one guy got shot during a swatting event. These are real things and they're tangible, like they're happening. I think that we need to have an actual... Yes, and Nikki, take all the time you need. All of it, please. Just be safe. But what was I about to say? Oh, we need some kind of actual federal law on this, or states need to start getting together and start making their own laws. But I think a federal law might be the best bet. I know it sounds like I don't want to put more restrictions on people, but at this point things are getting out of hand, which is crazy, because like you would think that the content creators are getting older. You know, like Hutch is in his 30s, Denims is in her 30s, I'm in my 30s. Like, we're not kids anymore, but for some reason, we're not even in the Wild West anymore, like it was the Dark Ages back in the early internet era, where everything was crazy, but now we're like hitting... Doxing is when someone takes your information and puts it on the internet, and that's usually what people use to then swat or something like, or send pizzas or something to your door, or even worse, actually show up to your door and harass you. Doxing is when you either receive public information and you publicize it with harmful intent to send people towards somebody. Now, some websites require it to be, it's all information that's used in harmful intent, whether it's public or private, and YouTube, it's private information. So here, people on YouTube have a lower bar of entry into what's happening. So, for example, someone could ascertain my IP address and then find out where I live based off of that, and then publish the information publicly if they don't like the things I say. And then I could get harassed in real time. This happens a lot. And right now there's a big string of doxes that happened from Hasan Piker because he was reacting to a bad empanada video, who was actively known as a serial doxer. And by even invoking his name, I couldn't incur his wrath. And if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Fuck him. He's a little spiny little fuck anyway. I think I can handle him. Unless he runs somewhere, then he's got me beat. You know, if he can stay far enough away from me where I can't get a hold of him, you know, and I'm fucked. But I'm also in a different state, and I live in a van. So bring it, bitch. Now I record in a particular place, and he can get me there.
For the lawsuit, we've already mentioned that with Denims, and then he pulled up someone on Instagram, I think it was, what happened was Hila had posted a tattoo of a Star of David that she got, and then someone in her Instagram comments wrote something like, "You belong in hell," or like some crazy unhinged response. Yeah. And then I think Ethan clicked on the guy's Instagram profile while they were streaming. And then I don't really know the rest of that story. And I would even be willing to grant that that's not something that I would do. And I just don't think that that's a good idea. And I don't support that kind of behavior. I'll just grant that. But at the time, I think like during the stream, I was questioning like, what is doxing? What are we calling doxing? Like for me, when I think of doxing, it always involves like an address. I know the term is much more broad than that. But like whenever I heard about doxing, like every single context that I remember some story about doxing that came up always involved somebody's address. And so the fact that her name was on the front page of the lawsuit, that was not a very compelling argument to me that he was doing like this target.
Nikki, don't. I had, look, I don't want to air relationship stuff off. I'm not going to go into too much details. Hell, even last night, me and Kia had a moment, you know what I mean? I have to remember that a majority of people, especially renegades, were not active on the internet in the ways that I was. Like, I've been a part of the culture war shit for so long. Like, it started in 2009 for me during Atheism Plus. I need to constantly keep that in mind, because the things I talk about are kind of based around all of this stuff. Because you can see Atheism Plus and the PC culture that was around that bled into Gamergate, and then from Gamergate it bled into the SJWs, and then from there it bled into the initial BLM movement, where people were trying to like get people fired in college campuses for talking about IQs in a class about that. You know, and then you saw like death to white people coming from that, and they were deemed a terrorist organization at the time. I don't think by an actual government, but like a lot of college campuses were deeming them that. They were showing up to colleges and doing a lot of really fucked up shit. And then the woke movement started. Like, there's a long list of things that happened in the culture war. And it's crazy because like I feel like I never switched sides. I've been the same guy. I don't like identity politics. I don't care what side of that conversation you're on. I've been against minimist, MGTOW. I've been against feminist, all these things. Anyone who like only uses one side of the gender paradigm to like push for a particular thing, I'm probably not going to be your homie on that. You know what I mean? I can admit that women have severe problems. Like they had to go through years of like poor social conditioning to make them feel like they were inferior to men. You could take it from the religion that they're a part of. Like, Christianity is very unkind to women, much like Islam is, or all these other various religions around the world. Our culture had such a negative respect towards women. Women weren't allowed in the workplace. Like, there was just so much shit that happened for women that, like, yes, anyone can say that, like, we need to fight for women's rights in these areas. But then, like, when Christina Hoff Summer comes out 20 years ago or 15 years ago, talking about how boys are being left behind in school and their grades are dropping dramatically, and people, like, feminists attacked her religiously. Because, like, they would take it as this, like, well, if you're taking away from our movement, then you're clearly, like, you know. I'm just a learning G's in slang. W in the chat. Base, brain rot. Yeah, dude, Gen Z stuff is fucking wild, man. And that's why, like, I was hopeful for Dean Withers, you know what I mean? And it didn't come to, like, it didn't birth what I was hoping it would. It was a fucking bummer, man. You in the chat?
Harassment campaign.
But I mean, we can work on two issues at once. We can say that men are being left behind in schools and all these other things, and we can also say that women, you know, need to be no longer stuck in a kitchen, and women should have the right to work if they want to. And then people that don't want to do those things, if you want to have a traditional marriage, you can do that too. If you want the man to be the head of the household and you want to be a caretaker, if that's your prerogative and that's the agreement, you come with your lover or loved one or wife or partner, then by all means, and vice versa. If a man wants to be, basically, I'm a stay-at-home man right now. My job is just here on the internet hanging out with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to work. My work is a fun thing that I'm already doing. I was going to watch this video whether I was streaming or not. Now, the difference is now I have to finish the video. You know, but I get to hang out with the peeps that are the renegades that are hanging out with me while I do a thing that I already love to do. Now, I'm talking a lot more than I would have. I would have just said, this is fucking this, and you know what I mean? But, like, it's okay. Like, I'm not working. This is a fun time. Be safe, Pixie. I'll see you soon. Even though you're staying here, but I mean, I'll see your responses soon. There we go. Look at that. But you can work on two issues at one time. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, if you're working on men's rights, you don't have to say I'm a minimist. You can just say, hey, these are issues that men are suffering from. Excuse me, I apologize. Let's find a way to, like, mitigate some of these issues. And then vice versa. Like, if a woman has issues, like, you know, women are being treated poorly in a certain field, like STEM fields and stuff like that, we should find a way to make these things more acceptable. We should have a better representative democracy. I can't wait till the day that America finally elects its first female president. And as long as she has good policies, and if I was in America, I would fucking vote for her. I'm not going to vote for her because she is a woman, but, like, I swear to God, the day that a woman gets in office, I cannot wait to watch the heads of all of these dipshits explode. And I hope to God she does the best fucking job that any president has ever done. Because then you could just shove it in the face of every fucking misogynist on earth for the rest of fucking time. I hope that when she gets in, she brings world peace. That would be fucking gangster. So I'd never have to hear another stupid fucking argument about how if you have ovaries, you shouldn't lead. I can't stand that shit. But like picking a side on the political, the gender spectrum to be an advocate for solely is ridiculous. We're human. Especially in an age now where gender is becoming something that's less defined and people can now opt in and out of genders. Like we should be able to just talk about all problems, human issues. But you can't. You can't. People take sides on stupid things. They draw lines. They dig themselves into these fucking corners, and then like they wrap their identity in these things. Like I'm never gonna say that I'm an outright feminist and use that as like a definer of who I am. But I am a feminist. I do believe women deserve equal rights, and I do believe that women should have the right to live the same exact fucking life a man does. But I'll never be the guy that's out there pounding my chest saying feminism is the way. Feminism is the way. I'm not going to say that because it's not entirely the way. I don't want to destroy the patriarchy. I just want to make it equal. I you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to destroy the entire structure of the world that we live in and completely erase things that are there. In the same way for minimists. I want some men that are suffering under the weight of being a man and suffering due to toxic masculinity to be less like that way. I want men to be taught that it's okay to have emotions and to express themselves. And it's not fucking lame or gay to have those moments. You should have more emotions that flow through your body than just fucking anger. And you should have hobbies outside of getting drunk after work and watching Fox News. There's nothing wrong with talking about the scope of all of these things and how that we as humans can like mitigate like the terrible things that happen when we fall into like these particular paradigms where we just separate everything into like these insular things when we should just have human movements. Now I understand that on individual level it's easier to pick one thing and fight for that, and that's okay. But that means that one person fighting for feminism or a female issue shouldn't be at war with the men's rights guy that's fighting on a singular issue, such as like issues around divorce and stuff like that, or the male suicide rate. We can have that stuff. I love you all. I'm going to go to the grocery store with my big old don't talk to me headphones on and try to get a few groceries without speaking to anyone. Thank God for self-checkout. I got you, Nikki, but you be beautiful, okay? And if you're going to listen to some music, try to listen to some happy music that reminds you of that beauty. The world is a beautiful place, and we must learn to embrace it, even when we aren't feeling so beautiful ourselves. Talking to a guy who puts himself on the internet that looks like this. You know what I mean? All right, Nikki, be safe, okay?
Campaign, and the point of showing the lawsuit was to get people to harass her. Like, I don't think that that's true at all. And what Hasan and Bad App and Empanada were doing, which is like very obviously they were fucking with us by doing that.
I did to just like make new and unique and creative things up. Is that what's going on?
Void going.
What is she doing? She just checked out? What's going on here?
She never reacts, man. Oh, she's got to do the Hasan laugh before she starts talking.
Hasan referenced me by name during his stream and has accused me of being a war tourist before. I don't know why he's pretending not to know.
Exactly, dude. He used to call Dylan Burns a war tourist. I forgot about that. Fuck. Dylan Burns, he knows who Dylan Burns is. Everything Hasan just said was a fucking lie.
My name. He showed my 9-digit zip code, not 5-digit on stream, which showed the street that I live on. Full document has my entire home address.
Which, yeah.
Dude, come on.
What do you mean?
Wait, what?
Is it like, I feel like I'm going insane with the sheer number of people that are pretending like referencing a document is doxing, but Ethan Klein, by no means.
Okay, there it is. So there's the whataboutism about Ethan Klein. So there's that.
Ever would be doxing because that was a public document.
That's even a ridiculous concession. IMO, the guy was saying shit to Ela on Instagram and he clicked a profile commenting on her Instagram. I mean, I just like, I don't know. Generally speaking, one thing that I have never done on this platform, I just don't know if it's ever a good idea or justified to use your audience in that kind of way. You know, like if there was a way to like address the guy's comment. I think you can do it in a way where you're not like pulling up their profile or whatever. But even that, like, I don't think that is nearly as bad as like this information here. And like clockwork, she just immediately does a whataboutism with like Ethan Klein. First of all, what does Dylan have to do with Ethan Klein? Have they ever had a conversation? Like, why is she bringing up Ethan Klein?
That was a public filing. Referencing that is fine. That's not doxing. And it's like, I'm sorry, the difference is between what your 5-digit zip code and a 9-digit zip code. Meanwhile, Ethan has like shown the city that I live in on his stream with my full name.
Hold on. So what's worse, the city you live on or the street you fucking live on? Dylan Burns uses his full name already. So if you know the street he lives on and his name, like, come on now. Now, granted, most of the time he's probably not at his address. Usually he's out in fucking Ukraine for like long swaths of time. But like, who could possibly be at his house? Maybe his family, maybe loved ones. No, there's a difference between using a fucking court case, public filing, and according to like, you know, YouTube, he hasn't doxed anybody, and then someone like publicly using information in a malicious way to attack people. Either way, maybe Ethan shouldn't have been doing that. Maybe Ethan should keep his fucking mouth shut about the filings that he's doing. Maybe he should have been avoiding all of that bullshit. You know what? I can get on page with you, girl. Let's say it together. Ethan should not have done that shit. Full stop. Full send. But that doesn't mean that Hasan didn't do anything bad. Two people could have done wrong. Problem solved. Look at that. We came to agreement. Except I doubt you would agree with me, eh? You would find some way to justify Hasan's doc regardless.
Name that was not public.
What I don't understand the connection that she's making between Dylan and Ethan. Am I missing something, guys? If you want to make that with me, because I just appeared on the podcast, all right, fine. If you want to do that.
Well, no, it's not even about, like, Hutch is now being obtuse for a reason. He clearly knows why she's making the claim that she is. She's saying that if people like Hutch and all these other content creators or all of these vans or all of these things are okay with one person doing a form of doxing and not okay with another, that it's a form of hypocrisy. I don't have to be disingenuous here. Like, you can just be honest. You can just say what she's saying. Hutch is being kind of a little bitch right now. I'm sorry, Hutch, I love you. But clearly you know that's what she's saying. You clearly know that the whataboutism is just to point out to the hypocrisy of one side over the other. If you're okay with one person doxing, you should be okay with both people doxing. Either it's okay for both people or it's not okay at all. Now, you can get into the structure of what each one was, and you can get into the details about that, but she's not doing that. She's just getting into the point that saying one did it, the other did it. Now, your job is to refute that by stating, like you did earlier, by which one was doxing, which one wasn't doxing, and then you can advocate for fucking pushing for, a federal policy that this way, if someone does any kind of form of doxing, that maybe we can drop the fucking hammer on them instead of just wishing for a goddamn ban from the, yeah, both can be bad, yeah. So Hasan, not Hasan, but Hutch right here, unless he gets more into it a little bit in the future, because we still have quite a bit, we're halfway through the video. You know what I mean? Like, that's not necessary. Hutch is now doing like a weird deflection. He might, you know, Hutch is usually pretty good at it, so maybe.
Am I missing something, guys? If you want to make that with me, because I just appeared on the podcast, all right, fine. If you want to do that, it's still whataboutism, but if you want to do that, that's fine. But is there any real connection between Dylan and Ethan?
There doesn't need to be a connection between the two of them. All that it has to do is that Ethan doxed fucking her, and now Hasan doxed someone else. You just have to say both are bad, dude. That's all you have to do. This isn't complicated, man. Now, of course, you can have a subtle, nuanced conversation and get into the weeds about which one was doxing, which one wasn't doxing, how doxing worked. But right now, she's just making a mass appeal to hypocrisy. And it's your job, as the person that's refuting her, to fucking point that out. And you're not going into those details. This is a weak argument on your part. And Hutch knows way better than this. Even though I don't really enjoy Hutch's like vocalization of things, he's very intelligent and he does very good 90% of the time. He's probably one of the best people on the left. I mean, other than Lonerbox is probably the best. Even though me and him are probably, because I'm really into, you know, my boy Destiny, because Destiny is probably, I want to say Destiny's the best, but he comes with a lot of baggage. Lonerbox still keeps a lot of the Destiny-isms without being Destiny, and also being a little bit more progressive in a few areas. And that is more palatable to more people.
Have they ever collaborated? Have they ever had a conversation?
Oh my God,
Has
get
Dylan
off
ever
this
gone
dude.
on Ethan's show? Did
Doesn't
Dylan say that
matter.
what Ethan did was like fine? Did he stick up for Ethan doing whatever? How's that worse than showing a 9-digit zip code? She's at this point, I think she's either purposefully being obtuse or she might just be obtuse. There's obviously a difference between referencing a court document and showing like information on your stream.
Like, what are we fucking? I feel like everybody's just being like fake morally outraged at the people that.
Well, I mean, is there though? Like, did the court document actually have? Because didn't Bad Empanada just show the FEC filing, which had the information on it? Wouldn't that be just another legal document? Aren't they almost along the same lines? The intent behind both of them were different, and that's where you can have a very good conversation about whether or not what Ethan did was doxing. The intent is the important part there. But they're both legal documents, right? The FEC filings that Progressive Victory did, which is what was used to dox these people, by and large, it's still a court document. It is literally manufactured to be used in court in case an issue happens. So they're both court documents, dipshit. Come on, you're way smarter than this. We have to talk about the intent behind what they're doing. Come on, Hutch. Come on, man.
That they know it's beneficial for them to be outraged at.
I don't really understand that. But
Like, I just don't. I just don't understand. Like, I can't.
you don't understand, really? You really don't understand?
You just said you didn't understand her statement. I understood her statement. Let's go back and I'll just tell you what it was, bro.
Be outraged at.
Oops.
Like information on your stream.
Like, what are we fucking? I feel like everybody's just being like fake morally outraged at the people that they know it's beneficial for them to be outraged at.
Yeah. Okay. So what she's saying is, she's kind of lumping you in with MAGA, right? So MAGA will say things like when Biden was president that they're constitutionalists, that they care about state rights. They'll say these things. And then when they're put into a position of power, all of a sudden those things change. Now they're allowing Donald Trump to send in the National Guard into states without the approval of the actual governor of that state, voiding and nulling the state rights, which is their whole thing, which is why Roe versus Wade was supposed to happen. That's why when Trump said it was up to the governors during COVID, everyone, I even praise that, by the way, everyone praises that as allowing state rights to happen. And we can all agree that, like, yeah, by and large, if a governor probably knows more what's better for their constituents and their citizens and their people than someone, 1,000 miles away in a building that knows nothing about them. They don't know the way that the markets work there. They don't know what the farmers' needs are. Obviously, all of these things. Most outrage is fake on both sides. Exactly. So the problem is when you get into it, now when they're in power, we can now criticize them for not being, upholden to their values. What that Denims is saying here is that all of these people defended Ethan Klein when he showed her information on her stream. Now, he did it through a court document because he was reading the filings that she was putting through. But that being said, he unfortunately showed information that on her platform would be construed as doxing. Now, you have to have a conversation about how it wasn't doxing and how it is doxing. But you have to go through all of that. So now, when Hasan does it, those same people that defended Ethan are now running defense now running attack on Hasan. There's a level of hypocrisy here, unless you're willing to point out the differences in there. I don't know how you can't understand that what she's saying. Yes, there is now a benefit to have this outrage in this particular area when they weren't outraged about it before. It is coming and going based off of who it's about. And that's not how it can work. It has to be the same across the board. And then you have to get into the nuances as to whether it is doxing or whether it's not doxing. And then you have to have the conversation around that. But I don't know why Hutch is being obtuse here while claiming that she's being obtuse. It could be because he's personally involved in this and his information got leaked as well. I don't know. But my boy Hutch is kind of dropping the ball with this one portion of this. But I mean, no one's ever firing on all 10 cylinders unless they're fucking Ren. You know what I mean?
I don't really understand that. But
Like, I just don't, I don't get, I just don't understand. Like, I can't
you don't understand, really? If like you really don't understand? If Ethan pulled up her city, state, and zip +4, you don't think she would have had a reaction to that? You don't think she would have lost her mind? You don't think she would have done her own videos and, you know, done her own streams? Like,
she would have
farmed her own clips, like talking about this issue. If he would have,
she would have, right? Just as you are. But you would probably be defending that, is what she's saying. Now, I'm not saying you would defend that. She's saying that people were, and that her information already got publicly blasted.
pulled up that particular information and put it on his screen, and then just like left it on the screen. Like, he didn't even have to do that. I don't think the zip +4, I could be wrong, but I don't think that was in the FEC filing that BE was showing on his screen. I'm pretty sure. BE did that stuff on his Twitter account. Hasan went above and beyond. Like, he went to Bad Empanada's Twitter and then brought up those tweets where he dived more into the specific information. But again, I don't know what any of this has to do with Ethan and how that relates to Dylan. What are we even
my god. It's not... Okay.
talking about here?
believe the shit that I'm seeing. Like, I really genuinely cannot believe the sheer number of people engaging in like Hutch behavior, where Hutch, like, Hutch has shared so much of this personal information himself. He shared his full name. He shared his like wife's name. He's done a fucking house tour showing a bunch of fucking easily identifiable shit.
I've done a what? What are we talking about? I never said the problem for me was people knew my full name. My fucking Twitter name is my last name. Obviously, that's not the issue for me. A house tour? What? What is she talking about? There might have been... We have a friend named Oreo who does photography, and I think he came over and I was like showing off new merch. It was like a Hutch 2024 merch. Maybe they did a picture like on my front door. But it's funny how she how does she know that, first of all? Did her audience like dive into my fucking Instagram? Hold on, let me see if I can find what she's talking about. You would have had to have gone back to like 2018 or 17 to find that. Hold on. I mean, do some scrolling here. She said a house tour? Is that what she said? Hold on.
Hutch has shared so much of this personal information himself. He shared his full name. He shared his like wife's name. He's done a fucking house tour showing a bunch of fucking easily identifiable shit.
Okay, even if that's true, he's allowed to like share his information. And if people show up at his door because of like his callousness on what he's displaying, like, you know what I mean? Like, if people showed up at his door because of the stupid shit he put on the internet, that's not the same thing as doxing. Now she's being fucking obtuse. This has nothing to do with the claim that's being made. Excuse me? Okay.
Yes, it's identifiable if you like have... what does that even mean? Inside my home? Excuse me? You showed us your house on stream like 2 years ago? That's what they're referencing? I walked around and showed you guys my home? There's no way she's being serious with this. You showed outside through a window. I mean... You would really have to... Oh, well, I mean, listen, I guess it's the internet, right? Like, people can get like one tiny little frame of something in the background and then just like figure shit out. That thought
That's
never
true.
even crossed my mind. When I was doing a house...
Needs to, though, these days, man. And much respect for it. I remember we will talk briefly about a place that shall not be named. Rule 1 and Rule 0. But one of the greatest things that the internet has ever done was... It sound harsh, but I don't mean it. People who post terrible things on the internet, like stuff affiliated with pedos and shit, it was cool to see Anon track them down and bring them to justice because crimes were being committed. I don't think it's doxing at that point, but doing that to people that you just politically disagree with is a different thing. Being a Democrat or being a liberal is not enough reason to try and take down people. There's a difference between giving out, yes, and this guy's bad and he lives here. Exactly, dude. Exactly.
House tour? I feel like is this not completely standard for streamers to do house tours and like content people? For a while there, it was super normal. Like, it was kind of standard. It was kind of expected. I said I lived in an Asian retirement community. Oh my goodness. That's certainly not true. Like, doing house tours, I thought was just very normal. The Dem Oversight Committee released Trump's birthday message to Epstein. Oh my goodness. Ew. Ugh. Fucking disgusting. There must be more to life than having everything. Donald, yes, there is. I'll tell you what it is. Ew.
I'm
This is so
sorry.
creepy. There's no way she's referencing.
Doxing bad. This video is boring as fuck. I'm out. Yeah, we've been streaming for 2 hours, and about an hour and a half of it has been this. And watching Denims just be a dipshit and watching Hutch dance around it ridiculously is just, I'm out. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore, guys. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. Oh.